Hello, everybody. Anybody that's out there, that is. So I'm just going to be working on one of my own games, and I thought since I was doing that, and I had a few hours free to work on my own stuff for once, I thought I might stream. And if anybody had questions about Component.Studio or the Game Crafter while I'm doing that, I can answer those. Otherwise, feel free to watch along and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe I'll learn something. We'll see. Okay, let's see. What do I need to do here? Oh, right. I need to get the designs for endure and accords redone. So I think I want to do dataset in endure and endure here. All right. I need to get rid of the win and just do something here. So, win condition, win reward. Yeah. Let's get rid of the win condition entirely off of here, or win reward off of here. So, remove win reward, remove column. All right, and then over here, win condition, delete that, win reward. Let's get rid of the divider. Okay. So we've got our, oh right, you know what, we still have the lose condition in here too. Let's just get rid of those entirely. There. Let's change this divider color now that there's only one of them to be gray. Okay, good. All right. Now, that should be changing everything. Yeah, good. So we're going to change this from win big to just win. And I'm going to change our values here. So let's go down here, make this big. All right, there should always be a choice on the lose. So if we look at anti-intellectualism, we're always going to add a house now, so we can get rid of that one as the win. And I think we can get rid of that one as the lose. So let's go bring, oh yeah, here, let's bring Illustrator up because I have a special sheet for that. I can see the relative values of everything. So we're going to get rid of houses. Each colony gains M. Each colony loses M. And if we just refresh that, oh, because I have a carriage return built in there. Okay, refresh. And I think this is just not clear enough. So to win, spend resource needed times Q. Q is the number of players, because I'm using a custom font here. So let's see here. Times the number of players. Actually, times the overwin condition. There we go. To win, and then if I put then, like that, that should give us, then each colony gains. Yeah, I like that. So to win, spend gears times 3 times the number of players. Then each colony gains. So let's get rid of this thing here. And then with lose, we'll do the same thing, except that we'll call it, let's get rid of these names too. We'll call it lose, then so you're either going to win or you're going to lose. Now the question is, going back over here to, did I open up Illustrator? There we go. Open, Dropbox, colony, economy. Okay, so I created this little chart to give myself a reference of what everything in the economy of the game is worth, relatively speaking. So we have that gear is worth 12. So we could let them lose the gear production or lose a victory point. That might be a reasonable choice. Even though the gear is less expensive than the victory point, they may want that more. So they could give them a choice to lose a victory point instead. Would be a good deal. So victory point is N or N, like so. And then if we come back over here, then we refresh, we should see each colony loses gear or victory point. Let's see here. Do I want there to be a choice of what you gain? Should you gain the same thing? I don't know. Let's come back to that. I think when you lose, you should definitely have a choice. When you gain, you just get whatever you got. I don't know. Choices are always good. Let's do or and for now. And we need to change that label again to, Let's make this, if you lose, not if you lose. I don't really like that either. After lose. That's what it should be. There we go. All right. I don't really like that they're gaining and losing the same thing, but we'll come back to that as we edit some of these other ones. So the win condition was 2. I think I'm going to make these kind of, we'll average the number and we'll always round up. So in this case, it was a 2, so we'll leave it at 3. But this one, move it down to 2, because I want some of these to be a little easier than others. So we're just going to kind of manipulate these as we go. 2, 2. We'll round up to 5 on this one. 3, 4, 2. Was that actually a 0 before? That might have been a misprint. Well, let's call it 3 for now. 2, 2, 5. All right, then we can remove the win condition because we don't need that column anymore. So now we just have our lose penalty, resource needed. Oh, resource needed is for our win condition. So we're going to need 3 times whatever the resource is, and then we win. Otherwise, we lose. Okay. So now, let's look at each of these. We're going to get rid of the O out of each of these. Okay. Shouldn't have changed anything, and it didn't. Let's look at some of these other cards, make sure they're still looking okay. So Lone Biter, right now, that's what we're looking at here. So you can either gain a whole bunch of resources or a victory point. And if you lose, you lose 2 victory points. See, I like this. This is an asymmetric choice. Of course, it's just a matter of fighting off the biters, so it shouldn't be that big a deal. So the value on all these, though, if we look at this, we've got 4, 8, nope, 6. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, and then 12 total. So you're either losing a victory point or you're gaining a bunch of resources, but the resources aren't as valuable as the victory points. So maybe we should add one more thing in there. Like if we're at 12, if we were to remove one of the food and gain a comfort, that would make us equal. So why don't we do that? Let's go over here. We'll remove one of the food and gain one comfort, like so, and refresh. All right, so now you have all this stuff you can choose from, or you can get a victory point. I like that. That's good. Or you can lose 2 victory points. That's another problem, though. We should always have a choice on the failure. So 2 victory points is 30 points. So what if you could lose 2 comfort production? Or maybe a comfort production and a food or a fuel production and a it's probably comfort production with a lone biter. That's going to be that. All right, so let's do that. This is an easy one to win. If you choose to lose, you're going to lose big. Or J, like so. All right, and then refresh. We'll take a look. All right, yeah, that's nice. It's better. Hi, Paladins. How's it going? Thanks for joining. I'm just working on Component.Studio. This is our game design editor for the Game Crafter, and I'm just working on a game that I'm doing in Component.Studio. It's pretty bland looking, thematically, because it's still a very early prototype at this point. I'm starting to head into middle, so I will probably start making it look better, but right now I'm still working on some basic balancing things. So if you have questions, shout them out or put them into chat, and I'll answer. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep working here. Let's see. All right, so that's Lone Biter. Machine Tariff. Let's take a look here. Hey, Kai. How's it going? Thanks for joining. Let's see here. So that's a lot. Each colony wins. So we're looking at either get 25 points over there, or that is a lot. Otherwise, if you take the gear production, you're getting a lot more. Yeah, you're at 36 plus 4 is 40. That's way too much. Or it's way too little on the other side. Maybe it's way too little on the other side. What if we made one of those a comfort production? If it was 35, that's still not enough. So we're at 25. We could just add a comfort production to that. So if we do something like that. So Kai asks, can I use a spreadsheet here? Yes. So I'm editing right here in Component.Studio. This is basically our spreadsheet editor right here in the browser. However, you can edit in a traditional spreadsheet, and then you can export a CSV file out of that, and then you can import it using this button here, and that will just fill in the spreadsheet data for you rather than editing in the browser. And you can also link a Google Sheet into this. You have to actually, there's a special thing, we have a page on it. Let's go to help.component.studio, and there's a special page on it, Google Sheets, that tells you how to get the URL so that you can link it in to Component.Studio. But once you got it linked in, you don't ever have to do it again. You can just hit the update button or the import button anytime you make changes, and it'll automatically reflect those changes here. So it depends on which kind of spreadsheet you're working with. But yeah, you can work with any kind of spreadsheet. And then ultimately you're working in the designer over here to, lay things out. I was working on that earlier. Right now I'm working on some balancing issues though. So I think I'm okay with the overall layout of this. Obviously we need to leave some room for artwork and stuff, but I'm not to that point yet. So I added J into here, so I'm going to refresh. That should give me a comfort production. Now these two things are equal, so that's good. However, we're wrapping with this weird period here, so I'm going to actually break that up into 2 lines. Just so much stuff on this one thing here. So let's just put that down on its own line, and we'll refresh here. There we go. That looks nicer. So each colony gains that or that. That's a lot. It's huge. But you have to spend 4 weapons for each to get it, so that's good. On the other hand, each colony either loses 2 gear production, which comes out to be a value of 24, or, thanks Paladins, or what else could we lose? You could lose, what was the name of this thing? This is machine tariff. What if you lost let's see, we got 24 there. So if we took these two and add them together, that's 21, and then add in some fuel. So we'll do, if we did E, actually, if we did this one, that's 24. If we do a comfort production and a fuel production, that's 24 by itself. So let's do an L and a J. All right. So you can either lose 2 of those, or you can lose L, J, like so. And I've made these, in case you're getting there early or late, this is actually a custom font that I'm referring to. I'm going to come over here and show you that. Let's see. So I'm using a site called Glyfter, and I've got a paid subscription, although they offer a free version too. Main difference is you can't save any fonts long term if you don't have the paid version. But anyway, so you can tie an icon to a letter, and then I have that imported so that I know what my letters are here, and that allows me to just type letters into here and use the alternate font over here. So inside of my Win Big reward, for example, actually let's name these Win, like that. I have the alternate font, so I have the colony set up as my alternate font and Advent Pro Lite set up as my main font. So that allows me to switch between the icons and the text very easily. Okay, so I'm broken up. Oh, and I gotta have an or in here. So, or, there we go. Oh, I have a question. Let's see. Aaron Colette Kozlowski. Hi, Aaron. What kind of game am I creating? So this is an engine building game. It's called Colony right now. It's a terrible name. I need to get a better one. So basically, here's the idea. You're in a kind of a rebuild situation. So at the beginning of the game, all the players are going to choose some kind of disaster to befall society, like war or zombies or a plague, that sort of thing. And you can mix and match those disasters too, so you can have more than one disaster in the game. And that's going to change the game both thematically, like artwork and the kinds of narrative that's going to be developed, as well as mechanically. So like if you chose war, then there will be more direct conflict between players. But if you chose zombies, then you've got this kind of antagonizing threat where the game itself is out to get you. And if you chose something like anarchy, then you have random events that are happening. Or if you chose climate change, then you have food is scarce, those kinds of things. Anyway, so that's at the beginning of the game. And then you're basically rebuilding society through this kind of engine building mechanic. If you've played something like Terraforming Mars or something along those lines, where you're building an engine to kind of build your way out of whatever the disaster was. And Colin is saying you can use a spreadsheet. Oh, all right. He's just answering text. Okay. Elliot Razzo. Clever thinking with the custom font. Well, thank you, Elliot. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I made the custom font over here. I really highly recommend Glyfter, by the way. Beyond Component.Studio, making a custom font is very useful because a lot of times, you're writing a rule book, let's say, and you're using an icon somewhere in your game. If you want to inline that into the text, you're manually positioning that if it's an icon. If you can make it a font, then it will flow naturally with the text. And so as you're making edits, it'll just go up and down the page and move with the text and reformat, resize with the text, all that kind of stuff. So definitely get yourself access to Glyfter, whether you use Component.Studio or not. Let's see. Paladins says, Component.Studio looks good. My last game I made when I printed on the Game Crafter wasn't good, and the font wasn't great either. Sorry to hear that, Paladins. You can do better next time, I'm sure. And it says Paladins TCG, so I assume you must be using our booster packs and things like that to make your game look great too. Let's see. Kai says, will the fonts just size to the size of the letters, or do you have to scale them? No, it's all vector, so yeah, if you change the size of the font, it'll automatically scale. So I'm going to go over here to my win condition, for example, or not my win condition, my win reward here, and I'll just change the size of the font. So I can change the two fonts independently here, but I'll change the text font to 90 first, and you can see that it gets blown up. And then I can change the size of the icon font to 90, and then you'll see that that gets blown up. So they absolutely do scale, and because they're vector, they scale without pixelation. So it's really nice. Okay, let's see. It looks like somebody else might have asked a question here. Oh, it's just Aaron saying, I like the concept. Thank you. The game is actually playing pretty well. There's some balancing issues with time. So I was having this mechanic in the game where the players could mess with the duration of the game as part of their engine, because I always like those kind of chaos things in like Magic the Gathering, where you could kind of mess with things. But the general feedback is that people don't like it when the game's time gets messed with. Like they were expecting a 90-minute game, and then all of a sudden it's a 45-minute game, and then they're like, well, I didn't get a chance to get my engine built. And then other people would say, it was a 90-minute game, and then it turns into a 2.5-hour game, and then they're like, oh, this is running too long. So decided to remove that, and so that's what I'm working on here, is removing I'm removing that time element, time editing element, and then rebalancing these cards after doing that. So, okay. So let's see what else we got going on here. We were working on. All right, I got those two. So let's move on to the next card. All right. So if we get back here. We've got a comfort, which is 5 points, and a victory point, which is 20, 20 total. And then over here, we've got 18 plus some gas is 21, so those are pretty balanced. I think I'm okay with that. But we do need to add a choice here. So you're spending weapons, or you lose weapon production, and you're losing 18 points off of that. So what if you could lose fuel production instead? So I'll make that the choice between these two, because everybody likes a choice. So, or the letter was H. Or no, H is this one. We want L. Like so. And then we come back over here, and booyah. Looking good. All right. So we can move on to the next card. Must have water. Each colony gains a food production. See, this is pretty weak now. This used to be you gain more stuff because you were gaining the end game, but now that I remove that, this might need to be better. So each colony gains a food production. And I think we want to have that be, what if food production is what? 6 points. So what if you gained a food and 2 food production, or you gained a comfort production? I think that would be good. So let's do, food is D, so we'll do D, K, or you gain a comfort production, which is J, and the person who contributes the least, and so yeah, I want everybody to have to suffer with this. So this shouldn't be this. We should have it, I can refresh here to show my new win condition. After you lose, then the person who contributes the least. This should be, yeah, let's get rid of this. Each colony must lose must kill one colonist or lose N. And if we refresh on that, so we're either spending some fuel to gain some cool stuff, but now that we added this stuff in, I think ×2 might be too weak. So I'm going to up that one to a 3. There we go. All right, so you must spend 3 fuel times the number of players, or to win the cool stuff, or everybody either kills a colonist or loses a victory point. I think that sounds good. All right, next card. Oil tax. Each colony gains, that. So that's 20, or we're over here at 21, so those are balanced. I'm okay with that. But you're either going to lose fuel production. I think you got to lose victory points if you don't have it, because otherwise you may not have whatever else I need you to lose. So 2 fuel production is 18, 1 victory point is 15. That's close enough, I think. So you lose a victory point if you can't pay it. Or N, like so. And did I do that on the previous ones as well? See here, they may not have these 2. Well, they could go negative. That's true, everybody can go negative. So that's not so bad. Yeah, all right, moving back. All right, pantry tithe. So this has got to be about food. So you got to spend weapons to either gain a comfort and a victory point, so that's 20, or we've got over here 12. Let's get rid of the comfort off of that. Then we'll be equal. So yeah, if we do that, then the point values are equal. Oh wait, no, we got to get rid of a corn. This is 12, 14, yeah. So let's get rid of 1 corn off of it as well. And then down here, if you don't, you lose 12, or a victory point, or N, yeah, like so. Looks pretty good. All right, moving on. You know what? I think I might come back to these in a minute. Let's instead make some other changes that I've got listed here. So I need to look at smelter versus kiln. No, I decided I'm not going to do that one. So making friends dilemma has an extra ore. So let's go over here. Data sets, dilemmas, and we've got making friends. So if I look in here, for your own storage, give any number of colonies. This, oh yeah, 2 ores. All right, fix that. All right. Build a flour mill. So if we go into data sets over here, and we go into structures, build a flour mill. All right, what is this? What does my thing say? Only 1 food, not 2. Oh, yeah, it's given too much food. Yeah, that makes sense. These are all my notes from a previous playtest I'm making changes based on. Build a forge should not be pinned. Build a forge. And actually, I'll show you guys what we're talking about here. So in the game, let's go over here to structures. And if we go to build a forge, there we go. All right. So this pin down here designates that a building that a card stays in play because it has an ongoing effect. But this thing just gains you a gear production, doesn't have any ongoing effect, so there's really no reason for it to be pinned. So anyway, let's turn off. If we look up here, I have whether it's a keeper. This is not a keeper. So, oops, that one is a keeper. We want build a forge is not a keeper. So we'll just take that as 0, or I can just make it empty. That'll do that. All right, I can take that one off my list. Twofer dilemma has an extra and. Data sets, dilemmas, twofer. Where is it? A couple people, and 3 to put them directly in the file. Just take both or neither. Discard them if you don't. Twofer dilemma has an extra and. Oh, draw and 2 cards. Read right over that the first time. Okay. Automation or people should say and keep. Automation or people. Here we go. Draw and discard from the top of the card. Put that card in your hand. Okay. Reward. Oh, right. So in missions, over here, in missions, I've got this little label that's right here, and that needs to say something slightly different. What do we call that? So this is our little bonus VP BKG text. This is what we're looking for here. This mission. People were confused by it saying any. They thought that they were cumulative. So get rid of that. And likewise, on people, we had a similar problem, but it wasn't, let's see here. Was it on contact? No, colonists it was on. So over here with colonists, we've got Do things and stuff. All us geeks. All right, thanks, Jeff. I'm trying to do things and stuff, but you won't leave me alone. Just kidding. Nice to have you back in the world, Jeff. Let's see here. So, the personality quirks often have something to do with being hired. So I think everybody was saying they should go between the cost and this line here. So, let's see here. Bonus, so this is this. And here's the other thing. I don't think I need this background anymore because there's a feature in, let's try that first. There's a new feature that allows you to put a background on a text area. Now I might have to define this background or this text area better. Yeah, I do. But still, I don't have to have those be two separate line items anymore. So if we do, let's see, if we change this to be the width of the card, so we'll get rid of this 150, it'll be the entire width. Why did that go wrong? Should be the width of the whole card. If I put in, I don't even know what the width of this is, 825. No. Why is that being messy? So, is it because I'm centering? No. Let's outline this thing here. Whoa. That's weird. So for some reason, it is not lining up. That's got to be a bug. All right, I'm going to give myself a little bug report. The background color. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. So if this was minus 150, it was working. And this before was 75. It works there. Interesting. All right. Well, let's give myself a little bug report. And you guys are seeing a private screen here. Don't pay any attention. All right. Background on text not working quite right. I'll fix this after the podcast. Sorry, after the live stream. Yeah. So, if you... Let's just take a screenshot of my settings here. And we'll do something like that. Boom. And then I'll paste that into my desktop screenshot here. All right. And you know what? I should give myself a link to this too so that I can come back here. All right. I'll fix that tonight after we're done with this stream. But for the time being, I'm going to still mess around with this a little bit. So let's see here. Do this. I want it to be taller. You know what? I'm not going to mess around with this. I'm going to turn this back off for right now because it doesn't make any sense until I know what's actually wrong. So we'll turn off this background for right now, and we'll put this one back on. All right, good. So, but the whole point is I need to move this down. So, if we put this up here, let's renumber this thing to be, let's call it 15. Because, and I can refresh and then it'll come around. What do we got here? Doing my own work in CS the last few days. Still love it. Thanks, Jeff. Glad to hear that you're loving CS. Okay, so let's do what I came in here to do, which is to move the personality quirks above this line here. So everything in Component.Studio goes by these numbers. The order of operations is that. Not sure that's relevant for right now, but just pointing that out for you guys. So here are the two personality things. I need to move my bonus VP stuff down. So I need about 100 pixels, maybe 75 pixels, something like that, worth of work. I'm just going to make it 100. So we're going to increase the Y of this by 100. And then I'll also move the text down by 100 as well. And then I also need to move, obviously, my title down. Now, when I move my title down, that will actually fix a lot of things because I actually have the text below it working off the position of the title, so, or the name. So I'll move this down by 100 as well. So when I do that, all the text below it should flow down too, and it does. Good. I've opened up a space here for my personality quirk. Oops, somebody else is, nope, that isn't a comment. Okay, so then I want to take my personality label here, and we're going to put that up to, let's just call it 180, I think is where that needs to be. Boom. And that automatically moved the personality up too, because the personality is tied with that variable to the personality label. The only question is now, I don't really like this kind of white space in there, so I'm kind of thinking we need a background for that whole thing. So if we do something like, this is where those order of operations matters. So let's say I make a box, and I want it to be, let's say, so you can use this little color picker if you want to try and get a color exactly what you're looking for. But I happen to know the number that I'm looking for, so we'll go 880000. That's the number I'm looking for. I want this to be 100 pixels tall, and I want it to be, yeah, the full width, that's right. So then I want it to position itself at 175. So the problem is, of course, that I'm overwriting that. So this is where those numbers come into play here. If I make this 135, then it becomes before the personality label. So then it's no longer behind the personality label. However, personality label has red text in it. So let's make that white. And that's good. And then let's make the personality itself white as well. Good. All right. So now we've got our little quirk in there, and then we'll make this personality BKG. And you'll note, even though this number is here, it should go up here, but we don't move them when you change the number so that you're not confused about, oh, where did it go? If you want it to, actually get into the right position, you just refresh your screen like so, and so then when I come back down here, it's 135, 140, and so on. So I think that's better for the personality quirk. Yeah, I think that's better. It's in a better place for sure, because people, when you're hiring somebody, like this guy says he won't join your colony if Carla or Sean isn't present. And so you got to pay the cost, but you also have to note this quirk, so it's better that it's up here with the cost. All right, let's see. What's next? Game when you bring. See, and I'm thinking that if people are confused by that other one, maybe I should change this label as well to be when you bring this colonist into your colony, even though every colonist has it, but that way you won't think it's cumulative. All right, I think that's pretty good for now. All right, moving on. Governor. Oops, that's my ticket. I don't need that anymore. Okay, governor. We need to go to datasets. And that's a contact. And governor is, oh, no, not that one. This one. Here we go. The note should say build phase, right? All right, good. Oops, I just screwed up my thing, but that's fine, whatever. All right, governor is done. Fish hatchery. So we need to go back to data sets here and go to structures and build a fish hatchery. And what should it say? Fish hatchery should say remove from this card. Remove YY from this card. So if we go look at our design, and fish hatcheries, build a fish hatchery. Yeah, remove 2 cubes from this card to gain this stuff. People always have this problem with this wrapping. I don't really have a problem with it, but I don't know. Maybe I should build something in. I don't know. Let's see. 2 gain, and we'll just. That's a debate for another time. Should I build something in so that it auto. Well, I put a space between these things, though, because I want there to be a little bit of a gap so they're not butted up against each other. So, of course, it's going to wrap on a space. So, yeah, there's really nothing to be done. All right. Anyway, remove 2 cubes from this card to gain 2 food production. All right. Good. So that's off my list. Farmer has double brick conversion. Let's go take a look at the farmer. Contacts farmer. Oh, sure enough, right there. Two of the same line. That's useless. All right, Aaron should not consider colonists. So we're going over to datasets again, and we got our contacts. And oop, that's contacts. I want a colonist. Aaron, here we go. Tap to draw and consider 2 colonists. So that mechanic had left the game already. So let's just have her draw 3. Draw 3 colonists is a lot. Let's just draw 2 colonists. Do 2 people. So we have a people deck and a people deck replaced. We used to have the colonists separate, so now colonists are in with contacts. So tap to draw 2 people. That sounds good. Okay. Agnes and Kevin. Oh, right. We're going to get rid of burdened. We're going to come back to that. So, right now, let's bring that up here. See what we can do with that. If I go into here, I have another card to bring up. So if I go open, and we're going to look at the reference. Yeah, this. Okay, so currently I have these things like drive and sift and all this kind of stuff. And these abilities are, well, they're too much for most people to, there's so much going on in the game, people get confused by having to deal with this. So I'm going to write them right on the card, but there's also two of them that are too powerful, like this Sift and Burden are way too powerful. So we're just going to eliminate those. But we're going to actually put this right on the card. So let's go over to Leaders. And so we're going to do this, and we go down to Leader here. All right. So I need to find a place on the leader card. I think I'll just put it, I'll put it right in the Explore action, I think. That's the right place to put it. Explore phase rules. Okay. So spend E to keep, spend E per extra card you wish to keep. Oh, I don't have an alternate font set up on here apparently, and I also have some weird spacing going on. So let's change our spacing to 100, like that. Then the lines won't be so separated. Let's change this alternate font to be this, and black, and yeah, that's the right size. And then we also need to move it up a bit because it's too far down. So what if we move it up to about 800? Actually, if we look, 800 isn't quite enough. What we really want is right about there. So if we're at 780, I should have looked at that before I even moved it. All right, so that looks pretty good. So explore, draw 4 and keep 1, spend fuel per extra card you wish to keep. That's pretty straightforward, and it gets rid of this confusing rule over here. So that's one down. I don't know, just delete this quick. Oh, right, I gotta delete that piece of text there. Okay, Sift, we're just getting rid of entirely. This is what I was talking about. Like, so I'm an illustrator right here, but because this is a font, because I made this a font for Component.Studio, I also imported the font in here. So now these icons are just text that I can highlight. And so as I'm moving around, you know, all of the icons are moving with the text. It's just huge. It's amazing. So I highly recommend working with fonts for icons instead of putting images in. Although Component.Studio can inline images too, but most programs can't. So that's why the fonts are still better. All right. So salvage. Spend this to discard any number of cards. I can't remember what we're going to do with that one yet, so we're going to hold on to that. So the contacts can be bribed. So let's go over and edit contacts quick. So if we go to contacts here, we want to do a similar thing. And I think what we're going to want to do in this case is actually put in a little block like we had with the other ones, like in a little bar right here. So let's just call that here, and I think that was just 88888888, something like that. And oh no, it was 44. That's what it was. Okay, and then we want that to be 100 pixels tall, and we want it to appear here at 175. Okay, and special, oh right, it's only 50 pixels tall. Special, or actually call it bribe BKG. Obviously we need to move the name down, so we'll do that by 50 pixels, so this will be 225. Now that name's down, but that's also causing problems at the bottom here. This is getting squished in, so we'll take this ability, we'll turn on the outline, and we'll see that our outline goes down too far. So if we change our height, let's remove about, looks looks about 50 pixels there. So we'll do this down to 650. And since I have the fit to text, it's just shrinking the text to make that work. Anyway, so I can turn off my outline now, and now I've got my space working. Bribe BKG. Okay, so I've got the background in there. Now I need the text. So if we add text, and I think that the height here is going to be 180, and we don't want to center, oh no, the height is 50, the position is 180, there we go. We need the text to be white. We'll go with Advent Pro Light, but we also want to change our advanced one here, white, so on. We don't want to fit text to box in this case. We want to say, what's this big thing of text over here? So bribe, spend. Okay, so I need to shorten this down into something easy. Give, I don't know, I gotta look that up now, quick. What's the letter I'm looking for? The gear is F. Give F to contacts owner to use this contact. Something like that. And then this text is too big, so we'll go down to 40. Oops, that's the height of, oh, that's right. Oh, that's the height of the box, right? I need the text to be 40. And the icon to be 40. And still too big. There we go. Icon is still too big. This should be 35. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And actually, we want this to be bold, so it stands out a little better. Here we go. Give a gear to this contact's owner to use this contact. Perfect. All right, so that's a simple way to get rid of all of this text. Oops, all this text that's over here. Now bribe is done. Okay. And then all active players, all right, missions. We have a similar problem on missions. This is gonna, let's go over here and go to missions, good. All right, for this one, I think you want to read all of this. Actually, should that go up here? And then this text should just be at the bottom. It actually kind of should be. It should just be in the text of the thing. All right, so let's change this. Let's grab this and put it into our special here, and just say also gain N when you successfully complete this mission. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. So that's in there. And is this thing? Yeah, it's in right. Okay, good. So then in this thing up here, we need to summarize this. And we'll probably put the details into the rule book here, but we at least need some way to call it out. So I'm going to change this from bonus VP to thwart. Thwart. All right, and then we'll change this. Another player may spend to thwart this mission. Something like that. Another player may spend that to thwart this mission. Oh, hey, look at this. It's 30 in here. I set it to 35 on that other one. We should go over there and make those, that was on the contact. Make that equal. Another player may spend a weapon, or I should say spend weapons, like that, there. And then I can describe what thwart means in the rule book, but at least there's that cue. Okay. Good. Let's go back to the contact and fix the thing that I screwed up over there. Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't even put bribe text. And make that 30 and 30. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Excellent. Now, we are getting rid of, well, we've already dealt with thwart, and we're getting rid of burden. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do with salvage. But I can also get rid of all this crap because it no longer matters. I will, of course, come back here and edit this some more. Oop, I didn't want to get rid of that. Just this and this. All right, good. So I got to come up with something to do with salvage at some point. I don't know what to do with those yet. Spend, discard any number of cards to take on resources of your choice. Maybe that should be on your leader as well. Yeah, let's do that. Back over here, leaders. I got so much going on this card already. Oh, what the hell? Something's going on up here. Let's take a look at that. Oh, Paladin's TCG says, wait, does Component.Studio correct your spelling error or grammatical error? No, it doesn't. However, the browser I'm using Safari on my Mac, and the Mac will actually automatically do spell check and that kind of stuff right in the browser when you're typing. So I'm getting that advantage. I don't know. I normally use Safari in my daily use. I know a lot of people use Chrome or Firefox. I don't know if those will do it. So I don't know if it's actually a feature of Safari or if it's a feature of the Mac. So like if you're on a Mac, maybe it works in Firefox and Chrome as well. I don't know. But yeah, that's not Component.Studio doing that. That is that's the browser doing it. Okay. So yeah, there's something going on up here that I need to fix because this is taking up way too much space. Maybe it's in the component data. Let's go look over there. Datasets, leaders. And if we look at Alexis, oh yeah, look at all this junk that's in here. Okay, that's not good. I must have, oh right, when I was demoing this to somebody at CrafterCon and added all that, forgot about it. Okay, so let's refresh there. Okay, good. Now I think some people use 2 lines for that, which is why that's so big. Yes. All right. I got to figure out how I can get a little bit more room here, though. So I think what's going to have to happen is that this text is going to have to go down in size. Let's see here. We got some other stuff. Oh, All Us Geek says Grammarly has an extension for Chrome. And if I remember right, Grammarly, so the website is called Grammarly. If I remember right, Grammarly itself is free. So yeah, anybody could have spell checking and grammar checking built in for free. Elliot says Chrome and Firefox won't fix spelling automatically, but usually gives you a red squiggle underline for misspellings. Yeah, that's good. So there you go. Now you might try, if you get the red squiggle underline, you might try just right-clicking on it because it might still offer you that. Okay. Right. So I'm going to resize this starting hand area. It's a little, I need the room if I'm going to put that burden on here. Man, that's a lot of text though. It's just a lot going on. Maybe I need to shrink these icons a little because then I could fit more per line. So I'm breaking these at, yeah, because if I could get that down, is IFA the most? Let's take a look at the leaders here. If I could get these all on 2 lines, let's refresh here. And let's do row height of 4. And then, yeah, see, some of these are, we're looking at there's 2 extras there, there's 1 extra there, there's 5 extra. Okay, so I would need to be able to get 3 extra characters in to get rid of that line. I can already get 1 extra character in. So 3 extra. Yeah. All right. So let's do that. Let's make it so these are all in 2 line segments. Like so. Actually, that should have gone up 1 more. So we're saying we've got 8. We want to put 3 more on actually, so that should be 11. So if we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should have actually put more up there even. 11, like so. And I should have counted these before I did it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. This is a little bit tedious here, but it's because I'm trying to do something a little bit crazy. So there. I just want to take these extra 3s off and put them up there. And I guess it doesn't even really matter for the purposes of these ones that are only on 2 lines, but this is really just for consistency's sake. I want to get them all down to 2 lines, and then I'll have to shrink my text so that I can actually get them on 2 lines. So that gives me a little bit more room to put that, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. What am I doing here? extra text over there. And I'm still going to have to shrink down fonts and stuff on the actual text itself, but 'tis the nature of the beast once you start getting so much information on a single character, or a single card in this case. Okay, cool. So if I was to refresh this, it's going to not work because it's going to go off the edge. But I can get these, I can shrink this down. This is too big right now. So if I made this something like 60, I should also not use fit text to box with this, because I want to get it to a specific thing. So yeah, there, that'll give me what I need. I should also give myself a little bit of spacing between these. Let's just do like 5 pixels between them, and then shrink it down a little bit more to deal with that. There we go. That looks nicer. Okay, let's see. Kai says, what you guys think it will be the most common letter size for effects? Because I believe he is using pixels and he don't have any artwork, so we'll really not know how they'll look when completed. Ah, okay. So yeah, everything in Component.Studio uses pixels. There are 300 pixels per inch, so that can give you some kind of a clue. One thing that you can do very easily, though, if you ever want to see what something's going to look like in real life on your screen, what I recommend doing is actually shrinking your screen down until it gets to be the size of the physical component would be in your hand. So that way, if you, I'm going to just shrink this down. This is going to make me scroll up here a little bit, but I'm just going to keep shrinking. And if you get this down to what it would be in your hand, that's a little too small. There we go. And you just hold that up, like you could hold a card up to it and see, you know, is it that size? Or if you have the game designer's ruler, you could hold that up and see if that's that size. But then you'll get to see what the card would look like actual size in real life without having to print it out or anything. And so this will give you an idea of what you're looking at. At least relative to my screen, and you can see that it's the text, the yellow text at the top is pretty damn small, but the rest of it is completely still readable, legible, that sort of thing, yeah, not too shabby. So that's a way to give real world what does it look like, you know, as far as what it would look like if it was actually printed out on a card. Good way to test. Okay, let's find somebody that has 3 here. Oh, that one right there, Brennan. All right, so I can reclaim a bunch of space here. Starting resources label. So my starting background doesn't have to be quite so big. Oh, and Kai says good. He liked my idea for seeing a card in real size. Let's see here. So I'm thinking something like 625 is going to be the right size here. We're going to want to go down to about right there. Nice. That looks good. So now, if we go up to do this, and then we're going to go to, we're done with starting resources, explore phase rules. So we're just going to call this rules. And so we've got our explore rule, but we're also going to put in, oh wait, you know what, I got to put the position here. So this should be like 640, 650, something in that range. Yeah, let's go 630. It's a little tight, but I'm going to need the room. All right, so we got our explore rule, and then we can do a build rule of tap and discard X. Let's see, discard cards from your hand for each card discarded. Gain one resource of your choice. Hopefully that's not too wordy. Whew, it's a little too wordy. Oh wait, you know what? We can, let's do this. Outline text area. And that is a little hard to see with that background on there. So let's turn off our type background for right now. Okay, it's going down way too far. So we change our rules. We set the height to be, let's see here. We're starting there. We want to come down 100, 200, 350. It's a little too far still, so let's go 330. There we go, something like that. And then we say fit text to box. Good. And then we can get rid of our outline and we can turn our background back on. Yeah. It's a little tight, but it actually looks pretty good, I think. Not too shabby. I think we can move starting hand up a little bit too. There's a little bit too much white space right there. That'll give us a little bit more space as well. So if we change this to 25 instead of 35, boom, and then let's change our starting background to be 20. Yeah, it doesn't. We could probably make that a little even smaller. Let's do 15. Yeah, doesn't look quite so crowded that way. Okay, good enough. So, used to spend a brick to do the salvage ability, but now you can just tap your leader to get that. So tap and discard cards from your hand. For each card discarded, gain one resource of your choice. I wonder if I should. You know what? Let's make that even more clear, because people, I mean, you should know what a resource is if you're playing the game, but let's make that even a little more clear. For each card discarded, gain let's do what is it? D or B or E or let's see, A or F or C. It's a little bit more explicit. There you go. I think that'll be better for people. Tap and discard cards from your hand. For each card discarded, gain this or that or that or that or that. There. Now there's no question about what you need. All right. Or what you're going to get. Okay. So that fixes the need for this thing. So I can come back to that later. I'm just going to close that for now. Don't need it anymore. All right, let's keep moving down the list here. So exhaustion lowers immunity. Let's see. That is a dilemma, I believe. Oh, I don't want designs. Well, maybe I do want the designs. Let's see what it looks like. Dilemmas. And we're looking for, oh, it's not a dilemma. I should have written down what this card was. Is it an interrupt? It is not an interrupt. Let's go back to data sets. So it could be a dilemma, an event. Oh, it's probably an event. Yeah, there it is, right there. What was I thinking? Okay, so if we come back over here and we go into events, all right, resolve this card now. Resolve this card and draw another. At the start of upkeep, the player with the highest victory points loses one colonist. If that player has no colonists, there is no effect. If the player is in a tie for highest, then all players lose. I should have written down why I wanted to rework this card. For one, it probably shouldn't happen during upkeep. It should just happen right away. Maybe that's why I wanted to do this. All right, let's go over here and edit this thing. Exhaustion lowers immunity. Kai says, well, got to go. I'll see the rest later. See ya. Bye, Kai. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. Oh, that's... Add Z to all costs. Oh, am I looking at the wrong card? I am. I was looking at Dead Man Walking. That's why. Here we go. Oh, yeah. This is just... The reason that this is a problem is because nobody's going to be tapped when this happens. So it doesn't matter, basically. So what this needs to do is this needs to happen at this needs to happen during the produce phase, at the start of the produce phase. Yeah. Okay. So I can kill this and do this. Okay. I think I have a variable down here. Discard at produce. Yeah. So I'll just take this and I'll say this, and then we say at the start of produce add, there you go. So now if we refresh this card, at the start of produce add sick to all colonists who are currently tapped in all colonies. Discard at the end of the produce. The other thing that's nice about this is then it's a choice. You know you're going to make your people sick if you, if you tap them during the build phase. So then it's like, well, do I tap people and make them sick, or do I leave them untapped and then they'll, get to ignore this event? And so it's just nicer gameplay anyway. All right, but I still do want to rework that the Dead Man Walking one, because that should just happen immediately. It's weird that I'm doing this at upkeep. So let's just do the player with the highest victory points loses a colonist. So let's do that right now. Dead Man Walking. There we go. Player with the highest victory points loses one colonist to H1Z1. If that player has no colonist, then there is no effect. If there's a tie for highest, then all players who tie lose either a comfort or a victory point. Why wouldn't they lose a comfort? Well, they might not have a comfort actually at that point. So, yeah. I'm still thinking that should be more though. So, you're going to lose 3 comfort or a victory point. There we go. And it's not much of a choice because you can convert that. So let's do 2 comfort if you have it. All right, good. Okay, moving on. Next thing on the list was Rosita. I have Rosita down as the wrong words. Colonists. Rosita, where are you? Here you go. Personality quirks. All other colonists while she is in the colony. Okay, that's her thing. Convert comfort at the end. Oh, right. Yeah, I'll do that later. 1 person. Got that. Eliminate win and redo upkeep cards. Okay. Put the basic builds. Yep. Rename upkeep. That's a bigger project, boring for people to watch, so we'll move on. Eliminate basic actions and build them into the cards. We just did that. Possibly eliminate interrupts or stop them from affecting game length. Right. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier in the stream. So I have these, well, let's go over here too. I've got these interrupts cards, and some of them can affect game length. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Actually, these could still be there, you just do it ignore the event. Oh yeah, anything that says win big though has to be edited just to say win. Okay, so if we edit the interrupt, let's just change all these to 10 quick here. Okay, cancel an event before it has an effect. It's fine. When another player plays a card, yeah, that's fine. When another player plays a card, that's fine. Kill a member to win on this upkeep. I don't need this in here. When another player plays a card, doesn't really need to say these things in here, first of all. After an upkeep card, let's do that. Okay, after an upkeep card is drawn, you may play this card to put the card on the bottom of the upkeep deck without resolving it. That's fine. Don't draw an upkeep card. Okay. You may ignore the effect of any event. Prevent another player from taking their colony bonuses. You know, I kind of wonder, actually. Maybe I should leave those phases in there. Alright, let's go back down here. Is drawn. To win. Okay, coming back down here. To win on this upkeep. Kill any contact in any colony. Actually, it's, no, in your colony. Play when a colonist dies. Draw from the bottom or top of the construction deck. Yep. Upkeep. Kill any colonist that is not a member of Tree Crew to win. See, we need to rename Upkeep. That's, like I said, it's going to be boring to do, but because it doesn't make sense anymore. Now that, yeah. After an Upkeep card is drawn, you may play this card to put it back on the top of the deck. Okay, and when a colonist dies, play this card, another colonist in your colony is killed. Okay, unexpected turn. Okay, so those are fine. But there's also, if we go over here, there is Tavis, is a colonist. And he has this ability that no longer works in the game. Right there. Tap to convert B into O. And if we look over, so that's converting bricks into game end, basically. So we're looking at colonists. And we're looking at Tavis. Yeah. So that doesn't make any sense anymore. Woo! Clearly I didn't fix this personality quirk right. Let's go to personality. Yeah, okay, white. Should have done that when we were editing that stuff before. Boom. All right. At join. Let's do because we don't know the gender, that's why. Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, back to convert. Convert bricks into game end. That no longer matters, so we need to come up with something cool for him to do. Because he costs a lot for what he gets now. So, what the hell do we do for Tavis here? We need him to be able to do something cool. I don't know. I think I'm going to make a note to come back to Tavis because I don't have an idea for him right now. Fix Tavis from ending the game early. I'll come back to him. All right. So, possibly eliminate interrupts, which we just looked at. Make accords all the same resource, so you can do a blind bid. Right. Okay. So, if we go over here to datasets, and we look at accords. Right. Oops, that's the reward. I'm looking over here. D. Establish a trade route. Free trade. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so now there can be a blind bid. That simplifies the whole thing. And I need to redesign the upkeep cards too at some point here. Specifically the accords. Because we already did the endures. Or at least we started balancing them. Because this just looks nasty. So let's take a look at this quick here. First thing is, we don't care about the cost in this way. So let's get rid of that, and let's get rid of the cost label. And then the title, the name of it, should just go right up at the top, like so. And then let's take the costs. Let's see, there's our reward. Let's just spell it out in text because people were confused on how to read it anyway. So let's take our cost. And actually, if we get rid of this, because it's always the same anyway, right? Yeah, it is. So let's get rid of this out of here, because then we can just put it right into the text of the card. Okay, so let's put this in here. Let's start up here. To pass this accord, the colonies must collectively spend cost times Q we can get rid of the wordiness here. To pass. Oh, you know, we should actually make this more like the. Yeah, we should make this more like the endure card. So let's actually change the text of this to green. Oh, it was more of a dark green. It was it was 88 0088 00. There we go. It's like that. And if we say, somebody said something, can you do things like color fill boxes and draw boxes and circles and things? Oh yeah. Here, let me just show you quick while I'm working on this. So there, I just drew a circle. And so you have different steps that can do different things. So you can draw boxes, circles, hexes, polygons, all kinds of different things. So in this case, I drew a circle. I can set the color of the circle, you know, do whatever I want like that. And that can even be a variable in there. And then, you know, you can set the size of the circle. So if I wanted this to be 300 radius or something, I could select whether I want it to be a fill of a solid color or maybe I want it to do a gradient. So there I'm doing like a purple to blue gradient kind of thing. or I can swap those if I want it to go the other direction. You can say whether you want it to be a linear or a radial gradient. So there it's, slashes like this, whereas a radial gradient is, kind of these circles. So yeah, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with shapes and all that if you want to draw those in here. So, and you can of course position them too. So if I just want this, let's say I want this to only be on half of the screen. So I'm going to start this at 0 on the X position. Then I'm only showing the half circle, right? So anyway, getting rid of that. So I'm going to take my cost here, and I'm going to say this thing I was putting in up here. We're going to do this. We're going to put this here to pass. Spend this. We want this to only be 50 pixels tall, and I need my advanced to be green as well. Oh no, it's going to be that 008800, and this should only be 50 as well. We have it in kind of a weird position right now. So we want this to be the width of the card. We want it to be below that, so let's say at 150. And the X, let's turn on the outline so we can see where we're working here. We want the X to be 75 because we want it to start. Oh yeah, we want width minus 150 because we want the safe zone of 75 pixels on either side. So I'm going to turn off this text up here for right now so that it's not getting in our way. And then we'll come back down here. And so we want this to say Advent Pro, probably bold. We want no spacing in here. We want 100 pixels, or I mean 100%. And we don't want this to align right. We want it to align left. No, we probably want it to be centered. That's what we really want. And then this we want to be the colony, so it'll show us our icon there. And this we want to be icons as well. All right. And then, yeah, just like the other one. Okay, so now we can turn off this. Actually, we don't want this to be quite that high, so let's, we want this to be only 50 pixels tall, something like that. No, that's too small. And we don't want it to fit to box. All right, good. So now turn off our outline, and we can go back up here. Actually, let's say our cost is 25. Where's our cost here? Let's make this 25. And then turn this one on, and that way it's starting its text below this other one here. So we're going to get rid of this. And what we want to do here, let's outline it again so we know what we're talking about. We don't want this to be so huge. I don't think I want to describe how do I want to say this? I don't think I want to full text in here. So I just want to, so I don't want it to be too wordy, but at the same time I need it to be descriptive. So, well, first of all, we don't need the O anymore, because that's just automatic. At the end of every round, we're going to do that. All right, so we'll just say, let's let's do this. The colony to contribute the most. Oh. No, that's not right. Heather Newton. She's waving. Hi, Heather. Right. Oh, because I have these reversed. You know what? I'm going to just put those back to normal so that they're not confusing to me. All right. Like so. And let's make these 70 to make them normal. And let's get rid of the letter spacing. And let's, yeah, like that. Makes it more better. The colony contribute the most gets reward, which is actually going to be a thing like that. Oh, and it actually gets double reward. So let's just copy and paste this twice in here. Everyone else gains. Let's get rid of this thing because it's confusing. The colony to contribute the most. Yeah, that's nice. Colony. Oh wait, we don't need to be there. The colony to contribute the most gains this. Yeah, good. See, and it's just simpler. It's just simpler. Okay, so there's also cards that have a special thing on them. So let's just scroll through until we have one that has a special. We can get rid of this background, the doubling background. Don't need that. There's also that doubling text in there. Is that this thing? Nope, that's, get rid of that. Get rid of that. This is old junk that I don't need anymore. Oh, there's the doubling description. We'll get rid of that as well. Okay. And then I think what we're going to do is take this special and put it into reward, like so. And then we're going to get rid of special entirely, and we're going to resize the box for that to say that it can be the whole height of that whole area, because that makes it so you've got a little more flexibility. So we're going to be at, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 tall. Boom. Yeah. See, that's way better. Okay. Plus, eventually I'll have to shrink all this all down to put art on it or whatever too, but we're not there yet because the game isn't good enough yet. Okay, so turn off the outline, and there we go. Build the future. And actually, that's a little too tall right there. Let's go down here. Our cost should be, let's call that 175 instead. It's too close to the title. There we go. And then this thing has that 35 spacer in there. I don't really like that. I think that's too much. I think that's better. Although that 35 spacer might go good with the cost. So let's just make this 200. Yeah, that's fine. Good with that. Okay. So, and the cost should be not centered. Or should it be centered? Yeah, let's center it. Okay, so to pass, spend this times the number of players, then the colony to contribute the most gains 2 times, everyone else gains 1. Also, yeah, so we need to re-edit our specials here. Let's just do like 5. Everyone, also everyone. Let's do that. Also all cards in all colonies double. Also everyone gains. Does it say take? Gain F equal to your M now. Okay. Also gain. All right. So that should be. I don't know if these commas should be there. Let's just get rid of those because I tend to overuse commas. All right, somebody says, Heather, so formal. JT Smith, let's pretend we want to make the icons vertically centered against the text. May look good, may not. Is there a way to do that? Vertically centered against the text. Let's see. Do I understand what you are saying? Okay, I think I do understand what you're saying. You're saying that you don't want the baseline of the icon to be here. You want the baseline of the icon to go to the bottom of the decenter, so that like the icon would end its bottom at the bottom of the G in this case. There's nothing in Component.Studio that would allow you to do that I can think of, because that's actually a property of the font. So when you design the font, you need to design it so that its baseline, she just said the black ones. I was pointing at the black ones. Can you guys not see my cursor? Oh, now she's saying right, yeah. So anyway, okay, so a little lesson in fonts, quick. So fonts have what is called a baseline. That's the bottom of the font, excluding anything that extends below. So the bottom of the M, the O, the S, the T, the bottom of this loop on the G, and then anything that goes below that is called a decenter. So the icon fonts, I made that in Glyphter, which I showed earlier. I'll go back over there. I made that in Glyphter, and maybe there's a way in Glyphter to do what you're asking. I don't know because I've never tried, but here's my font, and so you see I uploaded an icon to the font, and I have assigned this one to A, for example. Now, what you want to do is lower that. So the only thing I can think of to make it look centered, would be to actually shrink the size of the icon. So I could, let's get rid of this here, go to reward. What I could do is say that the icons are 50 tall, something like this, and then it looks closer to centered. But I don't want to do that in my case, so I'm going to put that back. To actually get it so that the bottom of the icon is at the bottom of the descender, you'd have to design the font to do it that way. I don't know if you can do that in here or not, if you can set the baseline. I've never tried using any of these fancy options that he's got over here. So I'd have to look at the documentation for this to find out if I could do that or not. And then she says, could the icon font have a different line height than the text font? Yes, absolutely, which I just showed. Well, actually, I showed the font size. It can't have a different line height. it can have a different font size. Line height isn't actually a thing in Component.Studio. So you really have to design your font to have to line up where you want it to line up. Whether or not Glyphter can do that, I don't know. There are other font designing programs out there. So that's really a question of the font. Component.Studio does not have a way for you to do what you're asking. So going back to here, let's see here. Now I'm thinking about what she's saying. Yeah, there isn't a way. Yeah, there isn't a way to do. Nope, there's not a way to do it. Sorry. I was trying to think if even programmatically if I could change that, and I can't think of a way to do that right off the top of my head, at least. Maybe with experimentation I could come up with something, but I got nothing right now. So back to my thing here. Heather says, interesting, thanks. You're welcome, Heather. All right, let's move on here. So I've redone this card. It looks more clear of what's going on. So I think we've solved that problem. We can move that one off the list. Okay, and then we can do the blind bid. I wonder if I should say blind bid right on these cards. I should probably say via blind bid. Via blind bid. Then you don't even have to read the rules to know. Oh, right, but I made this thing too small, so let's do 150 there. Okay, and then let's do, I need to resize my reward block because it's going to be below here now, so we'll need to make that 650 instead. So now it won't run into my little thing there. And good. Oh, I should have turned off my outline quick. All right. Cool. So, what's next on my list? Huddling family. Datasets. Dilemmas. Huddling family. Huddling family. Huddling family. Here we go. All right. It says, needs to say people cards. What does it say right now? Draw 3 people cards and put them directly into play. Okay. All right. So that's that. Maybe I should uppercase people so that they know it's from the people deck. Draw 3 cards from the people deck. That'd be even more clear. There we go. More clear. Okay. Call it a, yeah, I got that. Okay. So I think that's all good for that. So I'm going to go back to doing my conversion stuff that I was doing at the beginning of all of this. So in datasets, I need to go back over to endure, and we said set this to, I don't remember, 5, something like that. There we go, like so. And then go over here to edit design, go over here. I want to edit my endure cards. Oh, Heather has asked another question. Sorry, what is line spacing setting under advanced for text? I would have thought that would basically meant line height. Okay, so line spacing is, if you're familiar with old letterpress terms, it is leading. It is the space that goes between 2 fonts. It is not the height of the line, but rather the space that goes between the fonts, or the 2 lines of text. So let's look at, let me see if one of these wraps here. There we go. So Lone Biter wraps here. So there's this little gap that's right here. between this font and that font is the line spacing. So if I was to change the line spacing on here to, let's say, 150%, and this is a percent of the size of the font, so that gives me the extra spacing right there. That's what line spacing is to give you that little gap between the two fonts. And then letter spacing is to do the same thing. It's the space between letters as it's typing them out. So by default, we're at 0 pixels between them. I could put 10 pixels between them, and then you'd get that sort of thing. So hopefully that answers your question, Heather. Let's see here. I was on oil tax. I don't remember if I finished. Oh, wait, we did pantry tithe. Pretty sure we did pantry tithe too. Yeah, that was the one we, yeah, okay. Here, so roving horde is the next one that I need to do here for balancing purposes. So each colony gains a comfort production, or Heather says, got it, thanks, excellent. Let's go back to Illustrator here. All right, comfort production is 15. So you can either gain a comfort production or a victory point. So those are even. So that's good. Each loses 2 comfort production. Whew, that's spendy. So you don't want to lose this one. That makes sense, actually. We don't want to lose this one. That's why it's cheap. So everybody has to spend the weapons. So they're either going to do that. So let's give them 3 choices on this one. So each colony will lose that, or NN, or JN, like so. And then when I refresh here, there we go. So you can choose one of each or whatever. All right. That solves that one. Moving on. Siege. Wow. So you're either, let's see here. So we know that this is 30 plus 9. We're at 39. Over here, we've got 3 times 9 is 27. That's 3 is 30. So we're at 39. So those are even. So you're either going to gain a lot of resource production, or you're going to gain comfort to production and video, yeah. I think people are always going to go for this one, so I'm going to actually weight it. I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to make the fuel production instead of, where are we at here? Is this siege? Siege, yeah. So I'm going to make this L. So it's actually unbalanced. The better choice is definitely the right side here. Now this is another one of those where it wraps funny with the period. So I'm going to go ahead and put a carriage return right there. And boom, good. So each colony either gains that or that, and then after they lose, each colony gains. No, that shouldn't say gains. Does it say gains? Oh, no, it says lose. I just read it wrong. All right, loses that, or I think I'm going to make it another harsh choice. You can either lose 2 comfort production, or you can lose 3 victory points. Your choice, whichever one you happen to have to spend. This is going to be a brutal one, and I think that's good because it's the worst one in the game. It's Siege, part of the war expansion. All right, So, got good there. Moving on to our next one, which is someone's got to die. Of course they do. All right, so you're spending 3 weapons times the number of players. Each colony gets 1 colonist for free, which isn't really plausible. We need to say something different. It needs to be like each colony draws from the people deck until they find a colonist and puts them into play regardless of cost, or without paying of cost, without paying their cost, and regardless of personality quirks. That's a lot of words. That's the only problem with that. Ugh. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. All right. So we need to find something else. All right. Let's do, you know what? If we gave them food, let's do that. Each colony gains either, if we give them 3 food production, that'll make it so they can put a colonist into play. Or they can gain, actually, comfort production. We need to give them more food production if we're going to give them comfort production. Comfort production is 15 each. Food production is 6. No, actually, that's 18 or 15. So yeah, that's a good compromise. Oh, but it breaks weird again. So, chewy chomp. All right. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kill a colonist or lose 2 victory points. 2 victory points is pretty harsh relative to a colonist these days, so we should get rid of one of those. Lose a victory point or a colonist. There we go. Okay. That's nice. All right, starvation. It's kind of, you're already hurting, which is good. I mean, this is the climate change one. Gain, but it's so limited. So you're going to gain 1 food, or 1 food production, or you're going to gain a single comfort. And I'll make it 2 comfort. Make it real choice. Or you're going to lose 2 food production, or 1 comfort production. Everybody's going to choose 2 food production unless they have to take an FU token. So let's make it a real choice. So if you've got a lot of food production, somehow, there we got that weird break again. All right. Actually, I think I'm going to move that one down too, just because I like it better. hoping those of you out there watching are finding this useful as far as, what can you do with Component.Studio and that sort of stuff. I should show, actually, while I'm in here, I should show you how to export stuff. So we just worked on all of those accords and redid them. So if I just go in here, we relayed this out. Oh, I thought I got rid of that. Oh, I did get rid of that. This is a render bug. Okay, sometimes you'll have, the system caches stuff on the back, so sometimes it'll display display old data when you first load it up. If you hit the refresh button, that'll get rid of anything that's cached. But anyway, we just redid all these, and so they're all formatted to the new style. Ooh, we got something here that's not spaced correctly. Actually, that shouldn't even be. Why is it like that? Oh, I know why it's like that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, all right. Anyway, so we've reformatted all these like so, and then we can go to here, not here. We can go back to here, back to designs, and we can actually export these into the Game Crafter very easily. If you haven't seen this before, it's pretty slick. So like I want to export accords into my game that's over on the Game Crafter. I just hit export there. It automatically looks for a game with the same name as the project in Component.Studio. So in this case it found one. They're both called Colony. Selected it for me. I can either create a new deck in that game, or if I had a deck I could update. In this case I've recently deleted all of those over there, so let's go take a look over here before I do the import. My games and Colony. Oops. There we go. And we can see that I've deleted most of the stuff out of here because the last time I did an update I only needed a couple things updated. I didn't need the whole game, so I just deleted everything. So I don't have, in Poker Decks currently, I don't have those accords are not in there, even though it's designed as a poker deck over here. So I'm going to create a new deck called Accords. It's automatically going to give you the label of whatever you're calling the deck in Component.Studio, and I just hit this. And so now what's going to happen is in the background, Component.Studio is going to render out all of those cards for me. It'll generate the images for all of them. It'll upload them into the Game Crafter, and when it's done, it will both send me an email and post a little notice on the screen letting me know that that it's done with what it needs to do. So I can actually continue here and go on about my editing. I could export a few more things or whatever. So I'm going to keep working on this design. When that pops up, we'll go take a look at what it looks like in the Game Crafter. And I guess I can get rid of Glifter here. So anyway, yeah, we'll still get that little notice even if we leave the screen. We'll get a little notice up here letting us know, whatever screen we happen to be on, that it has exported. Oh, there it is actually. So I can just go to the Game Crafter, or I can click on this link, or again, I also got an email saying it was done. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link so you can see what happens. And here we are. We're in the Game Crafter. Actually, you know what? I'm going to back out of that because I don't want to lose my place here. So I'm going to go over here and refresh my screen. So there we've got the Game Crafter up, and it's got this new deck that it created. I can go in and edit cards, and I can see the individual cards that it created. I can go through the proofing process, and they should all be perfect because I was designing them in Component.Studio and we had the same templates over there. So everything should look perfect. So anyway, we can go through that, and then when we're done, we can go ahead and order. So, all right, I'm going to come back over here. Let's see. Heather says, I think it's kind of fun to watch you work through the decisions for edits on a game I've actually played. I've got to run to a meeting, but have a great Christmas. She said my name again. That's weird. You too, Heather. Have an amazing Christmas yourself, and let's talk after Christmas. You said you wanted to maybe do some Component.Studio videos of your own. I'd love to talk to you more about that. So, have a great Christmas. All right. So, where was I? We're over here. We're doing this. We've got our starvation. Oh yeah, this starvation was done. So we'll move on here to supply duty. We only got a couple cards left. And then we're done with all of this for now. Okay. So we've got our each colony loses either gain a victory point, which is 15, or that is 12. But brick production is huge. No, that's 12. That's 18. So this is better. I think it might even be too good. So let's change, what were we looking at? Is this supply duty? This is supply duty. Let's change this to here. All right, so now it's not quite as good, but it's still great. So you're going to gain 2 of those, and you're going to gain 2 of those. That's pretty good. Or you can take a victory point. I still think that's too good. You're going to always choose that other one. Let's take 1 brick away still. It's interesting because there's the math of things, and then there's, you know, the emotion of things. And yeah, so you got to make the right emotional choice when you're designing a game, which is something I only recently learned. So, you know, that's surprising. Let's see here. Each colony loses 2 brick production, or they lose a victory point. If they lose a victory point, they're gonna always take the victory point loss in that case, because emotionally, nobody wants to give up their brick production. I think I'm gonna make it 2. Each colony loses a brick production or 2 victory points. 2 victory, yeah, 2. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, moving on. Supply lines cut. All right. Each colony gains a food production and what's H? I guess I can look over here. Weapon production. Okay. Let's make it or a, you know what, I gotta look it up here, I and L. And then they can lose let's do a different mix here. Let's do L or I H, like so. Did I do that right? Render. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a real choice. Okay. Much simplified. I like how simple this is looking now. This is way more complicated. There used to be 4 versions. So you could win big, win, lose, or lose big. And it's just kind of complicated. The options didn't really need to be that complicated. I like So instead, there's only two options. You're either winning or you're losing, but then you have a choice. If you do win or lose, what is the thing you're going to win, or what is the thing you're going to lose? So that way, you're always, uh, you always have. It's still it's a player choice, and I think everybody likes to make good choices. So okay, supply lines cut, testing security. All right, so we're either going to lose. So this is 18 or 15. Each colony can gain that. And you're going to lose 30, which is fine. You can lose more than you win. But there needs to be a choice. There needs to be a choice. Yeah, let's do... Let's make this N or like so. So you're either going to lose 2 comfort production, which are 15 each, or you're going to lose 2 victory points. Yeah, I think I like that better. Yeah. Okay. Moving on, moving on. Everybody can cure people. Otherwise, everybody has to make somebody sick. I think the problem here is, though, if you don't have... so we need to say... if you don't have a colonist or contact, lose N. Actually, I already said that other part, so... All right. Makes it slightly less wordy. There you go. All right. Last one. All right. Easy enough. But there's no choice here. So, what if we made the choice about food there? So, you're either going to lose, what do we got here? 15. So we got 30 points, or 30 points. Or you're going to lose, if we made it 4 food production, from a points perspective, it's clear you're only at 24. That's the one to take. But I think I think emotionally, people are going to choose this one. They'll lose the 2 victory points. But I'm still going to do it. Put it in there as an option. So I'm going to do that. Or K, 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 K. All right. So there you go. Yeah. That's rough. It's a rough choice, but like I said, I still think emotionally, wow, all right, we're going to make it 3 food. Because emotionally, people are going to choose the freaking victory points always. But now, That should be a tougher choice. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, that's it. I've done all the edits that I need to do for now. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream. If you had any other questions, you can always reach out to the Game Crafter support at info@thegamecrafter.com. Yeah, if you like this, please leave a comment saying you liked it, and we'll do more of them. But otherwise, have a great day. Merry Christmas, everybody.